Switzerland between the two banks and the country's financial regulators. The Swiss National Bank said the deal was the best way to restore the confidence of financial markets and to manage risks to the economy. Meanwhile, Credit Suisse shareholders were deprived of a vote on the deal and received one share in UBS for every 22.48 shares they own, valuing the bank at $3.15 billion, an equivalent of £2.6 billion. At the close of business on Friday, Credit Suisse was valued at around $8 billion. But the deal has achieved what regulators set out to do: secure a result before the financial market opened on Monday, which is today. Still looking at the banks, we move to the US. Signature Bank's crypto-related deposits will be returned to customers directly rather than being taken over by a unit of New York Community Bank Corps under a deal announced on Sunday. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation said Flagstar Bank's bid didn't include Signature's digital assets business, and about $4 billion of deposits related to it will be given back to customers. Under the takeover agreement, Flagstar Bank will acquire substantially all deposits in certain loan portfolios from Signature after the New York State Department of Financial Services closed New York-based Signature earlier this month and appointed the FDIC as receiver. Signature's 40 branches will operate at Flagstar locations as of today, Monday. But in particular, funds regarding cryptocurrencies at Signature banks would not be carried over to the new owner. Still looking at the crypto industry. The crypto industry has had a rough year, with digital currency markets crashing and companies collapsing across the board. In spite of the volatility, Hong Kong is pushing to become a virtual asset hub. The city's digital asset push is in stark contrast to the Chinese mainland, where Beijing has effectively banned trading and stamped out crypto-related activities. Hong Kong is planning to introduce new rules in June that will require crypto trading platform to be licensed by the Securities and Futures Commission. The regulator has already launched a consultation on its proposal to regulate virtual asset trading platforms. No wonder they say, in one country, two different crypto perspectives. Hong Kong is looking futuristic into crypto, but China as a whole, Beijing, is against the cryptocurrency markets and platforms. Let's move to Nigeria then and see the outlines in Nigeria. Fast-moving consumer goods, Unilever Nigeria, has said that it will be exiting the home care and skin cleansing market to reposition its business for sustained profitability. This was revealed in a corporate notice to the Nigerian Exchange Limited and signed by its company secretary, Abidemi Ademola. The company said that it was changing its business model to accelerate the growth of the company and meet the needs of consumers, shareholders, and employees better. One could only wonder what's the next direction for the company, Unilever Nigeria. The federal government has ranked in 10.1 trillion naira from the collection of value-added tax VAT under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, had advised that the incoming government should increase the VAT from the current 7.5% to 10%. VAT is a 7.5% consumption tax administered by the Federal Inland Revenue Service when goods are purchased and services are rendered. It is borne by the final consumer. Revenue generated from VAT is usually disbursed to the third tier of government through the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee. Still in Nigeria. The Nigerian Exchange Limited has sanctioned 16 companies for various market infractions in 3 years, according to reports. Specifically, the NGX imposed the sum of 779.5 million fine on Lasaco Assurance PLC, Presco PLC, Adova PLC, C&I Leasing PLC, and 12 other listed companies on the bourse between 2020 and 2022. The sanctions bordered on the failure of the companies to comply with some post-listing requirements of the exchange, especially the prompt filing of results and accounts. 14 of the companies were sanctioned 170.6 million naira in 2022, while the NGX imposed 586 million naira monetary sanctions on 7 of them in 2021. In 2020, 3 of the firms were sanctioned 22.9 million naira. The good news from InterSwitch. InterSwitch CEO wins Entrepreneur Award. The Chief Executive Officer founder of InterSwitch Limited, Mr. Mitchell Eleba, was on Friday named the overall winner in the Master Entrepreneur category of the 2023 ENDS and Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in West Africa. The founder and Chief Analyst Nairametrics Financial Advocate Limited, Ugodre Obichukwu, beat other finalists to clinch the emerging category entrepreneur winner. In a statement, the organizers of the awards, Ends and Youngs, noted that the awards were instituted to recognize and celebrate achievements of outstanding and amazing entrepreneurs in the West African region. It would be a good time to move to global economy to look at economic indexes and indices around the world. The annual producer inflation in Germany slowed for the 5th straight month to a 17-month low of 15.8% in February 2023, from a downwardly revised 17.6% in the previous month, and compared to market forecast of 14.5% amid softer rises in energy prices. Energy prices remain the biggest upward contributor in January, namely the distribution of natural gas at 38.9% and electricity 27.1%. Excluding energy, producer prices climbed by 10.2% from a year earlier. Other significant cost increases were seen in intermediate goods 8.6%, particularly wood at 45.5%, cereal flour 33.3%, and metal 3.2%. Non-durable consumer goods 17.9%, such as food at 23.4%, durable consumer goods 10.5%, and capital goods 7.7%, mainly led by machinery at 9.4% and vehicles 5.6%. On a monthly basis, consumer prices went down 0.3%, the 5th straight month of decline, better than market consensus of a 0.5% drop. It would be a good time to look at Germany's producer prices change. Inflation, producers' inflation in Germany. Let's have a look at the charts. The chart indicates producer inflation was at 33.5% in April 2022 in Germany, but went further upward after a brief slowdown to 37.2% as of July 2022, and upward peaking at 45.8% for 2 consecutive months before hitting downward momentum to 34.5% in October 2022. Since then, it's been downward 28.2%, 21.6%, 17.6% in January 2023, and in February 15.8%, indicating improvement in production in the country Germany. It would be a good time to look at the commodity prices around the world, especially regarding the energy market, the price of crude. But before then, let's look at OPEC updates March 2023. The OPEC estimates for demand for OPEC crude in 2023 is forecast to be 29.26 million barrels per day, about 160,000 barrels per day lower than last month's estimate. If OPEC can return to the 2022 third quarter level of output, which was 29.4 million barrels per day, and its demand and supply estimates are accurate, then oil prices may remain subdued in 2023. According to analysts, the supply estimates for non-OPEC output may be too optimistic and expect oil prices to rise. If there is a severe recession in 2023 worldwide, oil prices may remain under $80 per barrel, according to reports. OPEC crude output was revised lower in January 2023 by 69,000 barrels per day compared to last month's report and December 2022 OPEC report. Still on the metal market and the commodities, we'll look at gold. Gold price jumps to one-year high. Gold erased early losses and jumped to $2,000 per ounce today, the highest in 1 year, and extended last week's 6.5% gain as investors fled to safe haven assets upon further reassessment of the UBS takeover of Credit Suisse and emergency responses by major central banks. While the takeover initially sparked risks on sentiment, shares for both banks plummeted after the deal wiped out $17.3 billion in Credit Suisse at one bonds, spurring concerns about risks to other banks worldwide. Consequently, major central banks have coordinated a joint effort to increase dollar liquidity. We'll get to talk more about that. Let's move straight to the market and see the outline in the market, beginning with the US dollar against the euro and other outlooks within the market. The euro against the US dollar. Let's move to the market. The market this morning have shown some positivity from one angle and negativity on the other angle. The euro against the US dollar in the market this morning has shown 1.066 US dollar equaling 1 euro, upward slightly by 0.0029 points, a 0.03% appreciation. For the pounds against the US dollar, is still upward slightly by 1.21 points, upward by 0.0145 points, a 0.12% appreciation. The Aussie Australian dollar is struggling against the US dollar. New Zealand dollar also struggling against the US dollar, but the US dollar is struggling against the Japanese yen this morning. Current price 131 Japanese yen equaling 1 US dollar, slightly downward by 0.628 points, a negative 0.48% depreciation. The US dollar equally struggling against the Chinese yuan. Let's look at Naira's perspective in this market. What the outlook in Naira market is this morning, the energy within it. Current price for Naira against the US dollar is 460. Naira equaling 1 US dollar. The outline and the outlook is totally different this morning. No major changes in the market. The euro against Naira upward this morning, for the euro gaining slightly after last week's fall against the Naira, upward by 0.79 points. Current price 488 Naira equaling 1 euro. We'll also look at what the angles would be and what the standings are. We're talking about the pound against the Naira. Current price 557 Naira equaling 1 pound, and upward movement of 0.99 points, a 0.18% appreciation. For the Aussie against the Naira, the Aussie is slightly downward this morning. Let's look at other markets. The parallel market, where Naira engages the majors. The parallel market this morning, according to the exchanges, on the average price 753 Naira equaling $1 and 745 Naira to $1 at the selling rate. For the pounds to Naira, it's 913 Naira equaling 1 pound at the buying rate and 918 Naira equaling 1 pound at the selling rate. For the euro to the Naira, current price 786 Naira equaling 1 euro on the average and 775 Naira equaling 1 euro on the average at the selling rates. It will be a good time to go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the central bank's perspective regarding liquidity all around the world. Don't go anywhere.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian.
Some issues on politics.
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
Security.
Education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Welcome back. It's Business 360. My name is Vladon Kim. Major central banks coordinated a joint effort to increase dollar liquidity through swap arrangements, aiming to limit the consequences of current strain in the global financial systems. Investors brace for the Federal Reserve's monetary policy decision this week, with money markets broadly undecided on whether the central bank may hold rates unchanged to keep financial conditions loose for troubled lenders and extend its fight against inflation with further rate hikes. Let's move to the metal market after talking about gold earlier on to see what the metals are doing this morning in the market. The metal market, beginning with gold price, has shown some weakness this morning. Current price $1,987 US per ounce, dropping by 0.0. Market is moving fast, 0.16. Market is quite fast, a negative 0% decline, but slight decline in the morning market anyway for gold. For silver, current price is $22 US per ounce, slightly downward this morning, but copper seems slightly upward, still downward by 1 point. Current price 4,233 Chinese yuan per ton. Let's look at the agricultural market then. The price of wheat is slightly downward this morning by 13 or 14 points according to how swift the market is moving, but the volatility of the market is quite low. $1,462 per bushel, a negative 0.95% depreciation. For wheat this morning is $698 per bushel, slightly down by 12 points, a negative 1.75% depreciation. Lumber is slightly up by 12 points, but palm oil is downward this morning by 127 points, a negative 3.24% decline, dropping away from the 4,000 mark since last week Friday. Current price 3,793 Malaysian ringgit per ton. That's the outlook from the agricultural perspective. Let's look at the energy market then. What's happening with crude oil? Slightly negative. US crude, WTI crude, current price $64 per barrel, downward by 1.85 points. Market is swift, a 2.77% depreciation. For Nigeria's price benchmark, the Brent crude is downward by 70, current price rather, $70 per barrel, downward by 2.256 points, a negative 3.12% decline. The rest of the natural gas, the rest of the commodities in the energy market like natural gas, gasoline, heating oil, coal, a little here, a little there. Let's move straight to the global stocks this morning. Global stocks fell. Stock indices around the world were lower on Monday as the initial enthusiasm over UBS government-backed takeover of Credit Suisse and a coordinated action by major central banks to boost dollar liquidity faded. Cautiousness and risk of return, and UBS saying it will write down about $17 billion worth of Credit Suisse bond. European shares were falling almost 1% this morning. US equity futures were also down, and the Hang Seng lost nearly 3%. Well, let's move quickly into the African stock market to see what the outlook of the African stock market is this morning. The African stocks this morning, beginning with Nigeria's All Share, has shown the price index at 54,972 index points, upward by 37 basis points at the open of the market on the weekly. Nigeria's All Share market, exchange market, had dropped 1.46% decline on a weekly basis. For the South African oil, the All Share index went up by 806 points. Current state is 73,334 index points, the highest in Africa, gaining 1.11% improvement this morning, but a negative 2.9% over the week. Well, South African 40 is upward. The Egyptian 30 is upward by 163 basis points. For Nairobi, Nairobi 20 is slightly downward this morning. A quick look at the Nigerian stock market then. Stock market from Nigeria this morning. At the market open this morning, you could see Dangote Cement's current price 281 naira 50 kobo per share, downward by a negative 6.5 points. On a day, it's downward by 2.26% decline. For Buhari Cement PLC, it's downward by 5.4% decline. For Dangote Group, also downward this morning. Sterling Bank, no significant change in the market. Current price 1 naira 54 kobo per share, and Better Glass is downward slightly this morning. And that's the outlook from there. And we could have a brief look at the cryptocurrency market to cap it up. What the state of the crypto market is slightly. Let's have a look at it. The cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin this morning, quite good. $28,273 for one Bitcoin for the crypto market, and the struggles for the rest of the market continue, but crypto seems solid this morning. Bitcoin from many analysts is aiming at $30,000. This way we draw the curtain on today's edition of Business 360. My name is Blydon Kim. Thank you for watching.